Alright everyone, I'm here to give you my TNA review for today's date is Friday the 13th. So February 13th, 2015. I wonder if the Jason movies are on actually. I want to check that. So it's usually on 63. I have a feeling that they were on today. If they weren't, then they're retarded. But my mom just had the Walking Dead on, and right now they're showing the scene when Tyrese just died. So if you want to see my thoughts about that, you can check out my video on that on the Owen the Talking Needle channel. So there's actually the reason I didn't the TNA review was late this week was because why? Oh, because I was watching Little Man. That's a really funny movie. You can check out my review of that on my own Talking Hater channel. It's like a non-wrestling talk right off the back. I talked about Friday the 13th. I talked about The Walking Dead, and I talked about Little Man. So it's like this is like my next non-wrestling channel, but that's not really the case. But yeah, and I also was my computer kind of is sucking right now because I have no sound at all on my laptop, which is gonna suck because I want to start doing Google Hangouts with a bunch of my college friends, and now it looks like I can't even do that. I wanted to start it the week after Fastlane, so I don't for WWE, so I'm gonna see if I can do that. But yeah, I'm gonna start watching TNA, and I'm gonna do the same thing as I've been doing. Pause it during commercials and give you my thoughts on it. Alright, so we have Taz and Josh Matthews on commentary for this show. And Kurt Angle comes out, talks about how he's done everything singly, as a singles guy. Won a gold medal, won world championships, but he felt like no, actually that's not how it started. The Beatdown Clan, which consists of MVP, Samoa Joe, Low-Key, and Kenny King, and Eric Young was there too. And MVP tells the Beatdown Clan that none of that ever happened last week. We're just gonna move on from it and pretend that it never happened. And that they're still gonna take control over TNA and the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And Samoa Joe pretty much says that they're gonna like lay everybody out and stuff. So I thought that was fine. Yeah, but Kurt Angle talks about how he's won multiple championships, but he felt like he needed help last week to take down the BDC, the Beatdown Clan, and he thanks Gunner and Austin Aries for the help. And then he calls out Lashley. And then Lashley comes out. Angle thanks him for having a change of heart and helping Team Angle take down the BDC last week. And Lashley said he didn't just do it. He didn't do it to help out Team Angle. He did it because he wanted to get his hands on MVP. And Kurt Angle said that he doesn't want to be out here. That he didn't just call Lashley out to thank him. He calls him out because he wants to face Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then the BDC come out, and MVP talks about how he was actually pretty good here. How whatever after you're done fighting, making up, breaking up, or kissing, or making out, which I thought was awesome, because he even mentioned like not even a week after the victory, which MVP claimed wasn't a real victory because Lashley wasn't even on Team Angle. He wasn't sanctioned to be on there, so technically it doesn't count as a loss. And MVP talks about how Kurt Angle needs a beatdown, and Lashley's holding the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and that doesn't belong to him. It belongs to the BDC. And Lashley says, "Which one of you wants to take the beating?" And then MVP says it, and then Lashley gets on the mic and challenges two members of the BDC versus Lashley and Angle. So I think that should be a good match. Well, depending on who faces him. And then Bobby Roode's backstage, and Austin Aries comes up and talks about how they have a lot of history, how both of them were in the tag team called the Dirty Heels and won the TNA World Tag Team Championships, how they teamed up in Lethal Lockdown together, and they said tonight they're just going to go out and make matches because tonight they're not teammates, tonight they're opponents, and Bobby Roode says he doesn't agree more because he wants to win that TNA World Heavyweight Championship more than Austin Aries, and then they both wish each other luck. So I thought this was pretty good. TNA, I would say, wasn't off to a bad start so far. And now you're gonna see Austin Aries versus Bobby Roode in a match, which I think should be one hell of a match. All right, so Ethan Carter III slash EC3 and Tyrus are backstage, and EC3 talks about how he doesn't like waiting. He's not a very patient man because he's grown up in a very wealthy family and they never had to be patient. And he really wants to shave Rockstar Spud's head off, and Jeremy Borash is taking that away from who he shaved off. So he challenges Mandrews, Rockstar Spud, and Jeremy Borash to a 3-on-1 handicap match. Them versus EC3 and Tyrus. And he's like, you may think that's a disadvantage, but we're one of the best teams out there right now. And he says that tonight, after this match, he's going to shave Rockstar Spud's head. Then we get Bobby Roode versus Austin Aries. I thought this was a really good match. Austin Aries and Bobby Roode just start chain grappling each other. And then Aries takes Roode to the outside. No, Aries goes up over the top rope, hits a flip senton over the ropes, and then he dives right onto Roode. That was cool off the top rope. And then Roode gets the upper hand. He hits a face first suplex. He just starts dominating Aries for like the rest of the match. He hits a spine buster on him. Aries kicks out, and right off the bat, I forgot to mention that they both went Roode hit the cross face and Aries hit the last chance of the patented submission moves, which I thought was cool. And then Aries makes a little bit of a comeback, but Roode cuts him off. He tries to superplex him off the turnbuckle. Aries fights off into a springboard drop kick, and then he hits a discus forearm. Aries goes for a dive, but Roode counters. And Roode moves out of the way, and Aries goes first into the guardrail, which was awesome. And then Bobby Roode went for the Roode bomb. Aries tried to roll him up, but then Roode got him into a crossface. And then Austin Aries tapped out. Roode got the victory. I thought this was cool. And the reason like this match was so important is because TNA has like a... This is so weird. Because next week they're going to have like a gauntlet match, which is pretty much like a Royal Rumble match, except in TNA. And they have like these top 10 bracket rankings match. And if you're in the top 5, you get to come out like in like the last 5 spots in this gauntlet match. Because the first like 15 are going to be random, and the last 5 are going to be whoever's in the top 5. And whoever's in like number 1 gets to come out number 20. So a lot of weird stipulations in this match. Then after Bobby Roode grabs the mic and says that was pro wrestling. He tells Austin Aries that he's one of the greatest wrestlers he's ever been in the ring with. They shake hands, and Bobby Roode says tells that it's time to get back his TNA World Heavyweight Championship and tell Lashley that he's coming for him. He pretends that Roode versus Lashley 3 never happened, and says that he deserves his rematch, and he says he doesn't care when or where he gets it. And afterwards, I actually thought he was going to be done. It was just going to go to the next segment. But afterwards, Eric Young comes out, attacks Roode from behind, and hits a power driver on him. So they're still going to continue their feud, which I think is cool because I really enjoy their feud. So I think that's awesome. But this was actually a really good match and a good part of Impact this week. Alright, so Bobby Roode's being helped to the back. And then Eric Young attacks him again and power drives him on the stage. That was awesome. And then it kind of got like into an awkward segment. I thought it was awkward. I mean, it was okay, but it was just out of the blue. Al Snow, I guess is in the ring, and he pretty much talks about how he's been on the wrestling all over the world for 33 years. He has a friend named Mr. Head, and he says that he also that he also is like one of the trainers for British Boot Camp, and I think he does really well. And he pretty much turns heel here, talks about how no one else, none of the fans could do anything as good as I do. Pretty much says that he's the best shit ever, which really isn't true. I mean, I never really saw any of our snow matches, but he never really got very far. I mean, he was in the mid card. He won the hard. I don't even think he ever won the hardcore title, actually. But I haven't really seen a lot of his career, so I can't really judge. And this WWE one, or WWF, wasn't very good. But, you know. I don't. He might have been in ECW, I'm not sure. But, he calls out this new guy Grado, that was in British Boot Camp, and says that he has no respect for Al Snow. Al Snow doesn't have respect for him, and that he doesn't have any passion or love for the wrestling. So he calls him out. He pretty much tells him that to his face. Grado says that he's gonna kick his ass, and then he points out Al Snow points out his mom, tells him that your boy's just a deadbeat. He's nothing. And then Grado like attacks him, and his mom attacked him too. And he said next week, and this was like a chance that Grado was gonna quit too. Next week, Al Snow is gonna kick Grado's ass, and if he beats him, he'll shake his hand in respect. So I thought this segment was kind of awkward. I mean, just because this is like the first time they brought this up, because I don't even think they aired British Boot Camp Season 2, so I don't know. I'm going to watch one more match and then go to bed, though, because I'm getting actually kind of tired. But one more I can sit through one more match or segment. Alright, so we get Crazy Steve versus Bram. Bram destroys him. And then he gets on the mic and pretty much urges Magnus to come out. And he knows Magnus isn't there, so he's just kind of taunting at Magnus. And he tries to hit Crazy Steve with the mic, but he ducks. And then Bram hits the elbow and the Rampage. Yes, he hits Page's finisher. I sometimes wonder if WWE makes fun of TNA, because they gave AJ Styles finisher to Michelle McCool. I'm just saying. I mean, I know it proves that the women do it better, but the WWE doesn't look at the women properly anyways. So I wonder if we're gonna make TNA look like a joke and give the superstars finishers like AJ Styles, like Bram, to women. But then again, Bram didn't show up until after Page, so but he beats Crazy Steve with the Rampage, and then afterwards he gets on the mic and continues to ask Magnus to come out, and then he drops the microphone on the Crazy Steve. It was kind of like a pipe bomb drop, the way CM Punk would drop it after he did a pipe bomb. And then Rockstar Spud, Jeremy Borash, and Mandrews are backstage, and Jeremy Borash is concerned because he's not a wrestler. He doesn't want to get his ass kicked. And Rockstar Spud says, it's not about getting your ass kicked. It's about going out there and being a man. We're going to be Tigers tonight. And Rockstar Spud says, we got backup. Now, I know where this is going because I know what's going to happen. But if you haven't seen it yet, you shouldn't even be watching this video if you haven't seen it. TNA, because you don't want to spoil yourself. So, but if you haven't seen it, then I won't spoil it. Alright, so now it's Valentine's Day, so I guess I should wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day, because now it's February 14th, 2015, 4:14 p.m. To be honest with you, I can't really celebrate Valentine's Day because I don't have a girlfriend, so yeah, Valentine's Day really means nothing to me. I haven't celebrated Valentine's Day in like my entire life, so I probably never will end up doing that. Anyhow, if you want to check out another video, I just uploaded, me and Jemiah Pin, WWE, just uploaded a video today doing another Google Hangout. We were supposed to do this yesterday, but then my computer's still having those problems, because I think I blew my speakers out. So, yeah, if you want to check out that video, you can most certainly do that because it's actually available. Maybe I'll try to put it somewhere. So, um, So now I'm here to talk more about TNA since I just watched more of the show. So we get EC3 and Tyrus versus Rockstar Spud, Mandrews, and Jeremy Borash, JB. The match wasn't bad. Tyrus just pretty much takes out both Mandrews and Spud. And then EC3 was supposed to be wearing a slim, but he was wearing like an arm brace because he has like some sort of injury. And Tyrus and EC3 dominate. Well, first Jeremy Borash gets in the ring and he starts beating the crap out of EC3 at first. But then EC3 fights back, and then Mandrews gets the hot tag. And then EC3 and Tyrus beat the crap out of Mandrews for a while. And then Rockstar Spud gets a hot tag. And then Tyrus does like the vice grip move, like takes his hand and just squeezes Spud's head, and they try to do a splash, but Tyrus accidentally hits Spud, and then Spud hits like a DDT, and then Jeremy Borash goes off the top rope and completely takes out Tyrus. That was cool. And then EC3 hits what he's calling the 1%er, which used to be Dean Ambrose's Dirty Deeds move for the win. And then afterwards, Spud's about to shave Rockstar Spud's head again. And then the lights go out, and when the lights come back on, we see Mr. Anderson's in the ring. We haven't seen him in a while. I have no clue where he's been. And he attacks Spud and EC3. He low blows... no, he attacks Tyrus and EC3. He low blows Tyrus and then fights off EC3. I didn't really like it. I liked the match. Was just kind of there. I didn't really like the attack with Anderson because he did it so slow. I don't know if it was just me, but he felt like he did it way too slow. But other than that, this really wasn't anything special. And then Gunner gets interviewed and says that he talks about the Gauntlet match. He talks about the Gauntlet #1 contenders TNA World Heavyweight Championship match and says last year he was this close on winning the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So he said next year that door is going to close and no one's going to stand in his way to get the TNA World title, not the BDC. And then Kenny King comes up and he says, this is going to be like like Candyman. If you say our name enough times, bad things will happen to you. So then Low Key and Kenny Tin attack Gunner. They lay him out backstage, throw him into like a crate. I thought it was cool. But this wasn't really anything special, like the match and stuff. But the attack on Gunner was cool. And also before that, I forgot to mention Gunner came and I talked to Kurt Angle, thanks him for like putting out the monster side in Gunner. And he's like, "Are you sure you want to team up with Lashley tonight?" And Kurt Angle says that he wants to make sure Lashley's 100% and healthy and at his best for when Kurt Angle beats him for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then that was it. Okay, so now we get... Actually, I forgot to go back and go to the commercials, but make sure I'm pretty up to speed, actually. I probably should have checked this before. Hold on. Alright, yeah, so I'm pretty up to speed. Alright, so we get... Madison Rain has a match. She comes out and talks about how she's like the greatest knockouts champion of all time. How she is like she's like one knockouts title reign away from becoming like a greatest knockouts champion of all time. And they keep playing Awesome Kong's music, and she's like, "Okay, we get it." So then Awesome Kong comes out, has a match, and she squashes her. That's about it. So then Kurt Angle and Austin Aries are backstage, and Austin Aries makes fun at Kurt Angle, saying that I'm not going to fight you for your seat. And Kurt Angle makes fun of him by saying that he tapped out to Bobby Roode, and he says the only reason why he did that is he can live to fight another day because he's going for that TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and he has the briefcase for it. And he talks about how he was willing to fight side by side to take out the with Angle to take out the BDC. However, though, when he gets the TNA World Title, he's going to have a big target on his back, and Kurt Angle said he's fine with that. And then Matt Hardy comes out to give an update on his brother Jeff Hardy's condition, and says Jeff Hardy loves this business. He's taking risks for the business, and says that normally if he was ever taken down like that, he would give him a thumbs up and tell him everything's okay. But this time he didn't do that. So James Storm, he's like, I hope you're happy because you possibly broke Jeff Hardy. And then the Revolution, which consists of James Storm, Abyss, Koya, the Great Sonata, and Manic. And James Storm says that he's done something that nobody else could do, break Jeff Hardy's spirit. And says he did that, and he says that there needs to be a villain to be a hero, and he's the villain, and in his world, the villains don't overcome the odds. And he also says that James Storm says that he gives Matt Hardy two options, that he can either join the Revolution or he can be in the hospital with his brother, and Matt Hardy picks the hospital, so he attacks Storm, and the Revolution are beating him down. Manic puts him in like an armbar, and James Storm says that he's going to take Matt Hardy's arm. And then the Wolves come out, which consists of Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, and they attack the Revolution, lay him out, and hit their finisher on the Great Sonata, and they escape. So I thought this was pretty good stuff. The Knockouts match, not so much. The Aries Angle backstage segment was good, and the Matt Hardy stuff was good. So I thought overall this was pretty good. Alright, so Austin Aries is backstage, and he's getting interviewed, and he said the guy asked him like when he plans on cashing in the briefcase for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match, and he just gives him a stupid answer because he didn't like the question. And then Kenny King comes up, and Austin Aries gets attacked by, the BDC. The weirdest part of it was he could have clearly used his case to fight them off, but he didn't, because he was holding his case. He could have hit him with the case, but he didn't. And MVP beats down Aries. They throw him out of the building, and says that you're not going to need this tonight. So they played it up like they did this so Austin Aries couldn't cash in on Lashley afterwards. But also they just attacked pretty much everyone that was on Team Angle in the Lethal Lockdown match last week. So then we get the main event. It's Lashley and Kurt Angle versus two members of the BDC. It ends up being MVP and Samoa Joe. It was okay. It was just kind of an average tag team match. MVP and Joe dominate Lashley for a while. Then Angle gets the hot tag. He hits the Angle slam on Joe, but MVP breaks up the pinfall. And then he gets dominated for a while. Lashley gets the hot tag. And then Angle and Samoa Joe were both in there. And Lashley was going to spear. It looked like he was going to spear Samoa Joe. And then Angle got him in the ankle lock. He was like, what are you doing? And then MVP rolls up Lashley for the win. And that was about it. So that was TNA this week. I didn't really think, to be honest with you, I didn't really think it was too good of a show. The only thing I really liked on the show was Austin Aries versus Bobby Roode. And Eric Young laying out on Bobby Roode. That's about it. I didn't really find any. And I guess the Awesome Khan match, but it was just a squash match. So I can't complain about it. But yeah, the only thing I really liked was Austin Aries versus Bobby Roode. That was about it. And that match kind of means nothing because it was to see who could get to the #1 ranking, and now Bobby Roode can't even compete because of the attack by Eric Young. But the match was still good. But that's pretty much it, guys. You could click right here to subscribe to me, and I'll be back a little bit at some point to give you guys another video.